Hey YouTube, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be talking about how I express my emotions through art. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I've really gotten to a place in my life where I've realized how much I really value art. And I've really gotten to a place in my life where I want to have more of that creativity for myself, because that is a part of the vision that I have for my life. Because I do feel a sense of peace and happiness whenever I have the ability to create, whether that's through music, writing, fashion, makeup, some hobbies, or even just expressing myself here on YouTube. And not only do I know that it helps other people, but it also feels therapeutic and cathartic for me. It gives me a sense of fulfillment and happiness. And with all of that being said, I really feel like art is important because not only does it tell stories, it can convey emotions in ways that people aren't always able to articulate. Even me on here, the things that I talk about, there's not always a simple way for me to kind of articulate my feelings. I try my best. I do the best that I can. But at the same time, there's also more complex emotions that we feel that I can't always express. And sometimes listening to a certain song, watching a certain type of movie, reading a certain type of book can help me understand that feeling, and also know that other people can relate to this and that I'm not alone in that feeling. And kind of the mindset behind my creative process, whether that's through YouTube or whether that's through my writing, I kind of want to achieve the same feeling. So yes, sometimes I might not always know exactly what I want to say or exactly what I want to write down, but I do know the intention behind it. And I think intention is very important to creating art. Like with my YouTube, for example, one of the first parts of my process is examining the feeling that I'm having, whether it's a feeling that I have, whether it's a feeling that somebody else has. And I kind of want to understand exactly why I'm feeling this feeling. Like for example, I'll use anger. For the most part, anger is usually a secondary emotion. I'm not saying this for everybody, but I'm saying this for me. For me, it's a lot easier to feel anger than to feel hurt or sad or to feel grief or something like that. But the thing is, for me, anger is usually an indicator that something is wrong in my life. Usually it's because somebody said or did something that really hurt me and I didn't say anything. It's usually because I need to set a boundary, or usually it's because I'm experiencing some type of frustration and I really need to get to the root behind that frustration. So if I can take out that anger in a healthier way by understanding exactly why I feel that way, now I can channel it into a healthier outlet so people can feel my anger, but they don't really feel my anger. You know what I mean? And we can use this for literally any other example. It's not necessarily with anger. Sometimes when I come on here, I want y'all to feel empowered. I want y'all to feel like you learned something new. I want you to feel like you can take over the world. And while I might not always know exactly what I want to say, I know the feeling that I want you to feel whenever you're watching me. Sometimes I'm not always necessarily trying to give people a lesson or trying to teach somebody new. Sometimes I just want you to feel what I'm saying. You know, I want you to feel that energy. I want you to feel the passion. For example, if I want to make a video where somebody can feel seen and understood, I have to go back in my life and think about those conversations and those moments that I've been through personally where I actually saw and understood my own self. That way I can kind of channel that into a way that other people feel seen and understood. And I also take the lessons and the stuff that I've been through and all the observations that I have in the world, and I remove all of the extra details but still focus the lesson on giving you that feeling that I'm trying to convey. Same thing with music, for example. Like the music that I listen to, yes, I like certain types of music, but for the most part, on an everyday basis, I'm listening to music for a vibe, okay? One thing about me is that with art, I really love a good concept, okay? One thing about concepts is that everybody is not going to get the concept because everybody's art is not for everybody. But the people who do get it, they get it. And the music that I listen to it to get a certain type of feeling, to convey a certain type of emotion, to express myself in a certain type of way. A lot of the music that I listen to on a day-to-day basis, a lot of people would say it's trash. I'm not gonna lie. But the thing is, I really love the concept of the music because a lot of the times with that type of music that I listen to, that's the feeling that they're trying to give you. They're trying to make you feel cool and mysterious and feel like you really like that. You know what I mean? So in my process, after I understand the feeling that I have and exactly why I feel that way, I can kind of relate it to the things that I've seen in the world or just listen to other people's pain points and kind of take that and try to articulate exactly why they're feeling that thing and exactly how they can kind of change that. And not necessarily to always change it, because I know that when we feel certain emotions and we go through certain things, sometimes changing is not always easy. And even if we are on the road to changing, sometimes we just need a way to get through that. For example, in one of my other videos, I was talking about grief and how it's kind of hard to have to grieve yourself and all of the expectations, the community, the belief systems, and all of the things that you had up until this point. But when you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you're no longer aligned with any of those things, and it can low-key be hard because it literally feels like you're dying because you're losing your whole identity that was tied up in all of that stuff. But sometimes people don't always have the words to kind of articulate that feeling. So for me, one of my strong points is that I can take that feeling and understand exactly why we're feeling that and kind of give it back to you in a package that you can kind of understand. And that alone in itself is me being creative and using this as a form of self-expression and as an art form. And one thing that I've learned about myself and that's really been helpful to me when I create these videos is language, because At one point in my life, there was feelings and things that I was going through that I didn't necessarily know exactly what was going on. But once I was able to name those things, name those feelings, understand exactly why I had them, that's when I was able to really understand and see myself more on a deeper level. And now I can do the same thing for other people. And that's exactly why I was saying that it is an art form, and that's exactly why I feel a sense of fulfillment, peace, and happiness, and it feels therapeutic for me even just to talk about some of the things. And another thing about me is that I'm more of a writer. I've always been a better writer than I am a speaker, so this is also helping me use my voice and sharpen my public speaking skills and really work that muscle, because one thing about me is if I don't have anything to say, I'm not gonna say anything. But the thing is, I do have a lot to say at the same time. And what other way besides writing is better to actually get these emotions out? One of the main reasons that you go into therapy is to express your emotions. That way you don't suppress them or take them out in unhealthy ways. I've even had experiences where I didn't necessarily know exactly what I was feeling, and I didn't know that I was taking it out in an unhealthy way because of that singular emotion. But one thing about talking is that it kind of does let it move through your body in a way, and it kind of gets it off your mind. Have you ever talked to somebody that you can really trust and you kind of low-key feel like you feel better at the end of that conversation, and you don't necessarily realize how much you've been holding in and how much you needed to actually let all of that stuff out? It's the same concept with art. And the thing about art is not only does it help the person that's creating it, but it really does help the person in a way, because like I said before, they feel seen. And sometimes art can save other people's lives. Your favorite artist, your favorite anime, your favorite game, your favorite books, all of that type of stuff can literally save somebody's life because it relates to you in some type of way. And I feel like we need a lot more artists that really care about the things that they're doing and really pouring their heart and their soul into it to really make people feel what they want them to feel. I know it kind of feels like I'm saying a lot of nothing, but I really do want to stress the importance of art, because I feel like art is so important, at least for me, because I'm a creative person. I have to have art in some type of way to literally function, because I feel like whenever I'm not able to create, whenever I'm not able to express myself, whether that's through writing, fashion, singing, talking, whatever the case may be, I literally don't feel like myself, and I actually feel more depressed when I don't create. And that's one of the reasons why I create so much, is because I don't feel like I can function if I don't. When I start to feel sad, why do you feel sad? Well, nothing else is going wrong in your life, so what aren't you doing? Oh, you're not creating content. Oh, you're not expressing yourself in this type of way. That's exactly why you feel depressed, okay? And I feel like one of the cures to an artist's depression is that they need to actually create. They don't need to suppress their emotions, and we don't want it to come out in an unhealthy way, because that can lead us down a spiral of depression, of self-harm, of doing all of the things that don't necessarily lead us to being our best selves. If you felt anything that I was saying, or if you can relate in any type of way, and if art is important to you, I challenge you to create your own art. I challenge you to write. I challenge you to make a movie. I challenge you to make a song. I challenge you to speak your mind. I challenge you to do more of the things that you actually want to do that would give you fulfillment, but not only give you fulfillment, but that would help somebody else in the process. And I feel like with art, not only is it an expression of one person, but I feel like it's an expression of love. I feel like art is a love language. Have you ever shared like your favorite songs with somebody and now you feel more connected, or y'all share the same artist, or you watch a certain type of movie together and now that's y'all's favorite movie and it relates back to a bond that y'all shared at a certain moment in time? Like stuff like that, to me, that is such an art form, and that's such a love language. And I feel like art is something that's so precious and delicate, and I feel like more people need to do more of it. And like I said, I want to find more ways in my life now to express that. You know, I have so much love to give, and if I can do that in my creativity and in my art, I'm always going to find a way to do so. Sometimes it's not always seen by other people, but at least I know that I did it, and at least that I know that I conveyed that feeling and I got that feeling out of me, and at least I put pen to a paper, at least I sung a song out loud, at least I got on here and I spoke my mind, because you never really know exactly what is helping somebody get through a certain time, you know what I mean? So yeah, I know I definitely rambled and I probably said the same things over and over, but I definitely wanted to make this because why not? One thing about me right now is that no matter how much self-doubt comes, or how lame of an idea I feel like it might be, or how bad of a video it might actually be, or how much I actually said the same thing over and over, I don't really care, because one thing about being an artist, one thing about being creative is that you have to kind of release everything that you make, whether that's music, the writings, and I'm not saying literally everything, but you know exactly what's not terrible, you know, and if it's not terrible and if it's not too vulnerable or something that you don't feel comfortable sharing, I feel like you should definitely share it in whatever way. I literally follow this one girl on YouTube. I see her art drawings all the time. Even though I can't personally personally draw, I think her art is so cool. Sometimes even when I look at other people's art, I might not always understand exactly what it is, but I'm always seeking to understand, like, what's the concept, what's the meaning, what's the feeling that you're trying to convey, what are you trying to tell us? And I really think that that's a cool experience in itself, just deciphering art, you know what I mean? But I'm not gonna keep talking, okay? I've been talking way too long. But hopefully if you understand what I mean, you know, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted you to feel like. I wanted you to feel like you could relate in some type of way. And if you did, please leave a like or a comment down below, because it really does help my channel out a lot to know that you like videos like these. I love each and every one of y'all so much. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk and listen to me ramble about literally nothing and one of my passions, you know what I mean? Go ahead and follow me on my Instagram right down below on the screen, and I will see y'all in my next video.